Hey, it's Jazz with Jazz Unfiltered, and tonight, of course, I'm coming to you live from Wonderland. And let's talk about our day a little bit. Number one, I had an amazing day because I woke up this morning, but number two, I just had some thoughts about self sabotage, and I just really kind of wanted to talk about that. I feel like as people, we do a lot of self sabotaging. I'm no stranger to self sabotaging myself. I probably have done that in the past, but I just want to make myself more aware so that I move away from these habits. And then so I looked up a bunch of stuff about it, and self-sabotaging behaviors are actions, both conscious and unconscious, that actively hinder your progress towards goals and well-being. These behaviors can be seen in various areas of your life, including personal, professional, and relational. And they can manifest in a variety of ways, including procrastination, perfectionism. Say that 5 times. And relationship sabotage. So I think my personal struggle with self-sabotage is professional, because at my job I do tend to take on a lot, and I do a lot at my job, and I do maybe a little consciously and a little unconsciously take on a lot of the work at my job so that my team looks like everybody is putting in as much effort as I am, but in actuality, they actually aren't putting as much as I am. And that's okay, because everybody can move in their own pace. But my personal struggle with it is I need to just let people be people. And if they do make mistakes, I don't need to cover it up. I have a really hard time with having everybody look bad. And sometimes it's okay for people to look bad. Shit, if you making mistakes, if you ain't doing what you got to do, then that's just the way it is. And let's look into perfectionism. Is striving for unattainable standards, which can lead to fear of failure and unwillingness to take action. So I believe we all have this, when you want to start something, hey, I wanted to start a podcast. But then was I you know what, well, this needs to be like this and this needs to be like that. No, it don't need to be all like that, simply because we just need to start. And then there is a road for us to go down where we can improve, we can get better, we can advance. And I don't have to be perfect. Thus, I'm not being perfect, because guess what? I'm posting as is. I'm not editing a thing. You're going to see me holding this paper. You're going to see me not pronouncing the words right, because I'm not going to self-sabotage in that aspect. And let's look at relationship sabotage. Is actively undermining a relationship through destructive patterns of behavior, such as picking fights or refusing intimacy, and this can lead to long-term harm. But I think we all do this in relationships. We do kind of sabotage things that's going on. So currently in just maybe past relationships, we're not really open about how we feel about things. And I believe that honesty is the best policy, especially for me in my life. I don't care if it's going to hurt my feelings. Just tell me what is going on. I don't if you can't make my feelings be unhurt by not telling me what is going on. So I just don't like that. And I do feel currently in my current relationship, there has been some things that I have looked at that I've been oh, and that's just because I'm not used to it. So I don't want to sabotage it. So I am being very conscious not to self-sabotage in that aspect. And also procrastination is putting off tasks even when there's a clear deadline. This can lead to missed opportunities and increased stress. So procrastination for me, maybe I just kind of procrastinate in things as far as like if my daughter has a book report due, we may pick out the book, but sometimes I like to get everything early in that kind of procrastination. But pretty much in things that I really need done, I'm not procrastinating because I don't want to self-sabotage in that way. Maybe a little bit. I can be very honest with my health a little bit, like some of my doctor's appointments. I do like recently I did have a doctor's appointment. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to push this back. But that is a personal goal to not procrastinate on when it does come to my health, because I do put a lot of things before how I feel like just regularly in my body. So, and I cannot do that. So I'm not going to do that. Negative self-talk is constant internal criticism that can undermine self-esteem and lead to lack of confidence, hindering progress. So I don't do a lot of negative self-talk to myself personally, because people can make mistakes, and it's okay if you make mistakes. Like, that's why you can get chances. I love a good chancey. Can I get a chance to do it over? Sometimes we do need to have chances to do things over, and then that's okay. But I'm not gonna like super beat myself up about something that I really can't change. And I do kind of feel bad. Well, not kind of. I really actually do feel bad for people who do a lot of negative self-talk towards themselves, because sometimes you do have to give yourself some grace, and you have to give others grace to get it together, because, and I know this may be very hard, and it's a very hard thing to deal with, when you're constantly like internally beating yourself up. And I'm not going to beat myself up, because listen, I'm out here doing the best I can. And that's just the way it is. I'm doing the best I can. And that's all that I can do currently and what I have going on. And then there's self-medication, using drugs or alcohol to cope with emotions and stress that can lead to further problems, hindering long-term goals, which is true. I probably have maybe an addiction to, what am I really honestly currently addicted to for real? Probably TV shows. I've probably had that addiction maybe my whole life. Guess what? I love watching a good show where I can see what other people are out here doing, and I don't really have to think about what I have going on. I sometimes just want to just binge watch a show at my own detriment. Like, girl, you gotta go to work. You only about to get 30 minutes of sleep, but you watching the whole show? Yes, I am watching the whole show. But it's like, is that self-sabotage? Sometimes. And making excuses, rationalizing self-sabotaging behaviors can perpetuate the cycle, making it difficult to recognize and address the underlying issues. So I'm not going to make a bunch of excuses why I do certain things. Sometimes I just can't understand what you are saying to me if you don't lay it out plainly in some terms that I can understand. If you're telling me half of something and I don't know the rest, or if you're trying to convey something to me that I can't even fathom it because it's not even in my realm of thinking, I do kind of need to get better at trying to do that. But I do try to see everything from everyone else's perspective, just so that I can be better. And I just don't want to make a lot of excuses, because I'm here. I know what I had to do. So get it done. And fear of failure. This is a big one. We can fail at things. That's true. Like, you can fail. But guess what? On the same token of you can fail, what if you succeed? What if you do something great that you didn't know you were going to do? That could happen. So at that same time, like, but what if I make it? What if I make it tomorrow? So I'm that kind of optimist. Like, let's see what can happen. So I just don't want to like be a super self sabotager, and I just really want you to maybe be informed about this in maybe my terms, because I mean you can look it up yourself to see what you do in your different behaviors about how you can fix all of this self sabotaging, because again it is a real thing and it does happen really often, and a lack of self-worth can lead to fear of success and desire to confirm negative self-perception. So I have really kind of done away with all that thinking here this year. I'm not going to be letting a bunch of things like just get in the way of things that I want to do. And I really did feel like, hey, this is 2025. We are, by the way, we are in the middle of the year. Can you believe it? We're in month 6. We got 6 months left in this year. It's gonna fly. But I just wanted to just let go of all of the negativity of, oh well, you can't do this and you're not that, this and that. Like none of that means nothing to me, because at the end of the day, y'all not paying my bills. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. So you can say whatever you like about me as long as I'm good with me and the good friends that I have in my corner, as long as they're good with me and I'm not being overly offensive. Because I guess I can be offensive, which I'm trying not to be offensive. I'm trying to be very mindful, very demure, very cutesy. I'm really trying to do all of that, but for real. But I'm trying to be very mindful of how.
¿Está bueno? Pues, ok, vente. Ven.
Harvey, because I want to just talk. I want to talk and let's get some solutions. Let's see how we can be better. I'm a super self care, self aware kind of person. So I'm very aware of myself and my speech, my language, my actions. And I'm just trying to be better and not be cold, because I do like to lead a lot with logic and not emotion. Like I'm definitely never gonna make no decision based on nothing emotional. I gotta make it make sense. Listen, are my bills about to be paid? Like, because sometimes you get mad at your job and you be like, fuck this, but then I'm like, girl, no. You got to think. You got. You said what was coming out? So I have to just chill and think about that, and I do think about that a lot. And I not knocking people who make emotional decisions, but I kind of admire people who run off of emotion, because I could never just run off of sheer emotion. Like I barely do anything off emotion. I always have to really think about it, really lay out the pros and the cons, really be like, how does this make sense for me? So I'm not an emotional decision maker at all. I'm just not. But I admire you guys sometimes, because sometimes working off them emotions gets you some action, but no, not over here. Not over here. And a need for control is also a self-sabotage behavior, which I didn't know that. I was just like, wait, a need for control. A need for control. Regaining a sense of control in situations where individuals feel powerless. I do at some, I guess maybe that's one of my biggest self-sabotaging behaviors, is a need for control. I do kind of need to know what's going on. I don't like surprises. I have to be very structured in again, logically in what I'm doing. So that is my biggest self-sabotage behavior, is a need for control. But I don't want to control a person and how they feel. I do want to maybe just have a controlled atmosphere. Like, it's not a whole lot of chaos. Like, everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, and hopefully they fall in line and do what they're supposed to do. I do like that. And yeah, I do like that. There's a fear of vulnerability. Listen, I'm not afraid to be vulnerable with my friends, I think. I'm not just going to meet a stranger, though, and just be like, oh my God, this, that, and the third. Absolutely not. No way. But if I trust you and I feel like this is a safe space for me, I'm definitely not afraid to be vulnerable, because in my vulnerability, you may have some information for me that can help me get to that other side of how I'm feeling, because you can see something that I can't see. And then this is another reason why I do like having a lot of conversations with a lot of different people, because you do get different perspectives, like, because everybody doesn't think like me. So if I can talk to somebody who doesn't think like me, then I can maybe have a different perspective. So let me just say one quick story, and then I'm probably going to close there. I was talking to my really good friend about something, and she told me, well, maybe this situation was put in your life for you to do what you are doing without, without holds bar. And then that really like let off a light for me, and I was like, wow, I wouldn't have never thought of the situation like that. I wouldn't have thought, oh well, that person was supposed to put a light or a fire in me, which I'm already a very fiery girl. Listen, maybe my fire was a little dim that day, but she got that spark going when she said that. So I was like, you know what, I'm not upset with anybody. I have to just let people be who they are, and I have to meet people where they are as well. And so, with that being said, and that little story there, let's stop with all this self-sabotaging. Let's try to recognize some of these behaviors, and let's try to get some solutions going to where we're not breaking ourselves down in return, like also hurting outside relationships, because sometimes it's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have your own opinion. It's okay for all of those things. There's room for everybody. And we don't always have to try to fight our own selves or others for our ideas to get out there or our opinions to get out there. It's okay to have opinions. We don't have to hurt each other with our opinions. We don't have to be rude or mean. But we do have to be respectful about how others do feel. And with that, thank you. I don't know if I told y'all I was coming here from Wonderland. Maybe I did mention that in the beginning, but we are closing out here in Wonderland, and I do thank you so much. I hadn't posted a video in 2 weeks. I thank you so much for staying with me. I don't know if it will be bi-weekly or how I want that to go, which that's something that I'm working out within myself. I'm not self-sabotaging there for my solo. So yes, again, thank you so much. I'm Jazz with Jazz Unfiltered, and I will see you again. Bye.